for more on the preparation and highlights of China's National Day Parade, we're joined now by CNA's Beijing correspondent Olivia Siong from Tiananmen Square, the heart of the Chinese capital, Beijing. And Olivia, the parade is about to start in less than an hour's time from now. So what's happening currently in Tiananmen Square?
Well, it's certainly a hive of activity here in Tiananmen Square as the final preparations get underway as the clock counts down to that massive military parade that we are expecting. And I'm just going to get the camera to pan and so that you'll be able to see what's happening here right now. You'll be able to see that the military band is in place. They've been here from very early in the morning, and further down you can see that Tiananmen Square has really been transformed. We see huge screens that have been set up over the last few months, and this main boulevard in Beijing, Chang'anjie, is where the military troops will be marching down in just a very short while. Not too long ago, we saw these military foot formations doing their last few practice run-throughs here in central Beijing, and you know, it is precision that they are after. They were given final pointers, and there were also sound checks being done just to make sure that they can be perfect, or at least as near perfect as possible for this very important occasion. And that's because all the attention, not just domestically but from around the world, is going to be centered right here in Tiananmen Square, where huge celebrations are being planned throughout the day. And we are going to be starting with this military parade, followed by some mass pageantry, and in the evening we're also expecting celebrations to continue and a huge fireworks display as well. But the highlight really has to be the military parade that is coming up. If we just talk about the scale, now this military parade that will mark the 70th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China, now that will be bigger than the 50th and 60th founding anniversary parades that have been held. It will also be bigger than the last military parade that has taken place here in China back in 2015 to mark the victory over Japan in World War II, and that parade being presided over by Chinese President Xi Jinping as well. So it's going to be huge. Officials say that the scale and what's to come will not disappoint as well. And so there is a lot of pressure to make sure that everything goes according to plan. And the parade will go on for 80 minutes. And what we're expecting is for President Xi to make his way here, and he will be inspecting the troops. Following that, then we'll be expecting a march past to take place. But what we will also be looking out for is a very important speech that President Xi will be making on this very important day here in China. Adam?
Well, Olivia, of course, a lot of eyes on China today as it marks that 70th anniversary. And of course, you just mentioned it, the parade, of course, one of the highlights will be the military hardware and the modernization that President Xi Jinping has prioritized in China. And among them, there's going to be a lot of keen interest, of course, at the hardware on display. And a lot of people are saying, military experts are saying that they may be showcasing arsenal that was not in the public eye before, including nuclear capability. What can we expect here?
Absolutely. This military parade that's about to take place in a short while is going to be a big show of China's military might. And let me just give you some statistics here. We are expecting 15,000 military personnel to be taking part in this parade, over 160 aircraft, as well as 580 pieces of equipment and weaponry to be displayed here. Now, this is expected to show the strength and the advancement that China's military has made over the last 7 decades, and in particular, as you mentioned, the progress that it has made in modernizing its military, as you know, has been pushed for by President Xi since coming to power in 2012. And so we are expecting many advanced weapons to be displayed. All of these, officials say, are made in China and have been put into service already. Some of the highlights would be, as you mentioned, some of these advanced missile systems, as well as supersonic drones, along with some stealth fighters as well. And the centerpiece, if the speculation is correct, and if military observers are correct, and from some of the photos that we have been seeing in the lead up to today, the centerpiece is likely to be the Dongfeng 41, and that's an intercontinental ballistic missile that is believed to be able to hit the United States in just 30 minutes, and that will certainly be talked about, once this parade is over, and it'll be interesting to see, how the international community and military observers react to the hardware that is on display.
Indeed. Now, as of course Beijing gets closer, sort of matching Washington's power when it comes to military might and weapons technology, what message is China trying to send with all of this?
Well, I think the message from the celebrations here today, well, for one, the audience will be domestic, and we're talking about all the people here in China who will mostly be watching this parade through their televisions. This parade will be broadcast live on state TV, and so that's the domestic audience. And with these parades showcasing China's progress and military might, is a chance for China and the authorities to stir up some sort of national pride among its citizens. But also, we are expecting the international community to be watching what is to happen in the coming hours from all over the world. And this, of course, comes amid the backdrop of this ongoing and growing rivalry, rather, between China and the United States. This trade war that has been going on for over a year now. And just after these National Day holidays, we are expecting, trade talks to continue in Washington. It was announced by the Commerce Ministry that Chinese Vice Premier Liu He will be heading to Washington after this National Day holiday. And so this is something that, China is likely wanting to send a message to the world, but perhaps particularly the United States, even though the officials are saying that this parade and its showcase of weaponry is not targeted at any particular party or any particular country. And it also has denied that it is flexing its muscles at Washington. But certainly this is the backdrop that all these celebrations are taking place.
Olivia, of course, the highlight of today, apart from, of course, the display of the troops and the military hardware there, will be an expected speech by Chinese President Xi Jinping, and he's expected to take the rostrum at Tiananmen Square this morning. What is he likely to touch upon? I mean, you just talked about the challenges. I'm sure he's not going to be dwelling on those on such a historic day.
Absolutely. So as part of the parade, we are expecting to see Chinese President Xi Jinping speak from the rostrum that's just behind this camera. And it's very symbolic because 70 years ago to this day, it was where then the late chairman Mao Zedong declared the establishment of the People's Republic of China. But today, it will be President Xi that will be taking the rostrum and addressing the crowd and the nation over here. And like you mentioned, his speech is likely to focus on the achievements that China has made over these 70 years under the leadership of the Communist Party of China. He's also likely to touch on the national rejuvenation of the country that he has pushed for, and that he says the country is now on the cusp of, and with projects like the Belt and Road Initiative and many other key projects here and its foreign affairs direction. President Xi has wanted to return China to its rightful place in the world, and so we are likely to hear him take stock of the past, but also look towards what's ahead. And if it's anything to go by, last night we heard from President Xi at the National Day reception, and he called for unity among the country, unity among the different ethnic groups, unity with overseas Chinese. And this is also given the backdrop of Hong Kong facing its biggest political challenges in years, and the political turmoil going on for many, many months. And President Xi, in his speech last night, said that China and Beijing will continue to uphold the one country, two systems principle, and that with Beijing's backing, the mainland's backing, that compatriots in Macau and Hong Kong will be able to prosper together. And this is something that they are holding on firm to. And President Xi also did make mention of Taiwan, the self-ruled island. He said that China will also be continuing to to uphold the one China rule and has reinforced that reunification is just a matter of time. Of course, President Xi has mentioned before that China does not rule out the use of force to reunite the country. So this is the direction that we are heading into, and we'll be, keenly listening out for what the president has to say. 70 years since the PRC has been formed.
Exciting day ahead there. Olivia, thank you so much for joining us this morning. That was our reporter on the ground, our Beijing correspondent Olivia Siong, reporting live ahead of the China National Day Parade in Tiananmen Square.